Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, everybody listening, and welcome into yet another edition of Cory Comments On. I am your host, Cory McKnight. You are the lovely audience, of course, and you can join me every Friday at 6 p.m. right here on All WNY Radio for the show. Thank you for being with me here today. It's Friday, January 11th, 2019, second show of the new year, rolling right along with this 2019 business here. When I was getting ready, I almost wrote January 11th, 2018, and I stopped myself. I was like, nope, not going to make this rookie mistake of writing the previous year right at the beginning of the new year. Got to start off strong. So it's 2019 in full effect, January 11th, and it is National Splash Your Friends with a Puddle Day. So this one is good in theory, right? I was having a good long think about this thing. Splash your friends with a puddle day. Seems like an innocent, lighthearted joke, kind of. But if you don't live in, like, Florida or Arizona or something like that, it might not be very fun for the person to get splashed with a puddle on January 11th. Keep that in mind, the date that it falls on. If you're in Western New York, you splash somebody with a puddle, it's going to be ice water. And who knows? They might catch a cold. You might kill them. They might die. Then it's no fun anymore when somebody dies. So if you're going to celebrate National Splash Your Friends with a Puddle Day, make sure you live in an appropriate climate and you're not going to splash somebody with a puddle that's going to be freezing cold. And definitely not me either if you're going to celebrate. Don't splash me with nothing. Because then I might catch cold. Then I might die and there will be no more Cory comments on and the world will go astray. Everything will be terrible. Anyways, enough of the puddle business there. Shout out to the puddles, though. I want to talk about my main little spiel here pretty quickly because I have a lot to say about it. This is a news story that has captured the nation's attention, might even have captured international attention, I'm not sure, but not just confined to Western New York or Rochester in particular. You may already be familiar with the story I'm about to talk about. The news station, Channel 10 WHEC here in Rochester, has fired their meteorologist, Jeremy Koppel, for something that happened, I believe, about a week ago or so, when he was doing the weathercast like he always would. And they cut to a shot of the park that I actually used to work at, over at MLK Park downtown. And he was going through his weathercast. They showed a live shot from there with, like, the weather. It's nice, right? And when he went to say the name of the park, he made a very unfortunate error, in my opinion anyway. I feel like there was no intent for him to say what he said, but it's up for debate, I suppose, because there's a large part of the not only local but national population, international population that feels he was wrong for slipping up and accidentally saying Martin Luther Coon Jr. Park, but immediately correcting himself because when he said the word Coon, or the syllable Coon, he was saying the first part of junior, like June, and he mixed King and Junior, and I think it came out Coon, and he quickly corrected himself. He said Martin Luther King Jr. Memorial Park, and he kind of amended it quickly like you would in conversation, and I don't know if he even really gave it a second thought once that newscast was over. It's just a quick thing. You stumble while you're talking. I do it all the time while I'm trying to do the show. I've probably done it 5 times so far, trying to talk about stuff just in the show, because you're speaking too quickly. And, you know, it's a time scenario. The weather's quick and all that. But we all do it. You mix up the first letter of the next word with what you're about to say. Your brain is moving too fast for your mouth. You slip up, but just in the 1 in 100,000 chance that the two syllables of Dr. Martin Luther King's name got mixed up was just incredibly unfortunate that it came out the way that it did. And I just feel for the guy so much, Jeremy Koppel. He was fired a few days later, and he has gone on to do a bunch of interviews afterwards. There was a public outcry here in Rochester, and they got in contact with Mayor Lovely Warren, who has a lot of pull around here, being the mayor, obviously, and she felt that he intentionally used the word coon when referring to Dr. Martin Luther King, and that he put it in there as a racist epithet. And apparently WHEC agreed with that stance on it, and they fired Jeremy Koppel and did not really give him a chance to defend himself at all. It was done behind closed doors, according to him. This is his side of the story. And WHEC has released a statement since, because there's been a massive public uproar about this whole thing, regardless of which side you're on. And they released a statement that backed up the firing of Jeremy Koppel, and they agree with Mayor Lovely Warren and some of the public's perception that he intentionally used the word coon. Insanity. So that's the whole backstory, right? Jeremy Koppel loses his job, way to provide for his family, because of a slip while he's speaking. And the insane judgment, they were so quick to judge in this case, it just blew my mind. And he even said that himself in an interview. You can't be so quick to try to search for social justice where it doesn't exist. It's just, in a man's career now is gone. I mean, he can work somewhere else, but his reputation is never going to be the same, I'm assuming, after this. He was caught in the middle of a shitstorm for social media, whatever, all across the nation, maybe internationally, I don't know. They might know who Jeremy Koppel is in fucking Turkey, I'm not sure. Because this thing had a far-reaching effect. And in particular, it's, in my opinion, a statement on racism right now, in current day. So let me explain here. If you weren't a part of some of the, if you're on the outside looking in, I should say, you may not know some of the grimier details about this thing, but in Rochester, this is not the first time that social justice has been mishandled. And it goes both ways. Both ways. There's times that it did exist and it was not, granted. But in this case, Mayor Lovely Warren and the city of Rochester are looking for social justice where it isn't there, and now a man's career is done. So in the background going on before all of this, there's been more than one incident of this type of thing happening with police brutality in particular. And it's gone both ways. Both ways, mind you. But issues like that where Mayor Lovely Warren got particularly involved, the chief of police was involved, and he is now, of course, resigned in questionable circumstances. And whoever took his place now is equally questionable in my opinion. But Mayor Lovely Warren interjected herself in a place where I feel like she really does not belong whatsoever, searching for social justice instead of taking care of the city. Terrible mayor. Terrible mayor. Shame on her. Shame on WHEC for firing Jeremy Koppel. That's where this whole rant is going. It's just, like I said, being so quick to judge like that is what scares me the most, probably, out of all of this. The fact that racism that was non-existent, completely unintentional, was perceived to be actual racism, and then people who are really racist then got a big platform to put their racist opinions out there, whether they were against Lovely Warren, against Jeremy Koppel, against any sect of the society. I saw it all on social media in different reports. That's what I'm saying, more of the inner details, because I've been following this thing closely, and it's just a shame. It's an actual shame that we're as divided as we are on something so inconsequential, unintentional. You hate to see it. I feel very bad for Jeremy Koppel, but hopefully he can get a meteorologist job somewhere else. I think he was from Kentucky originally. He came up here to take the job, and hopefully he can land somewhere else and be able to feed his family. I do not think he is a racist. I do not think he meant to say that word. He just slipped up while he was speaking too quickly. What do you think? Let me know on Twitter. After hearing all this long rant about this stuff, what do you think? Are we too quick to judge as a society in general? What do you think about Mayor Lovely Warren's interjection in this thing? Do you think Jeremy Koppel should have been fired? Do you think he should not have been fired? What do you think about it all? Let me know on Twitter at allwnycory. We can talk about whatever you'd like. And I'll be back next Friday at 6 p.m. right here on All WNY Radio. Thank you so much for being with me here today. I appreciate it a ton. And don't forget to hit me up on Twitter. I want to know what you think, people. All right, I'll see you next Friday. Cory McKnight signing off. Take care.